Hello everyone, my name is Juan Mahaber and this is Subnetting Skills Challenge video project. My COSAT student ID is 00073646. So for this network that we will be subnetting, we were given the network address for subnetting this network. As you can see, this network is broken up into 4 parts: R1, R2, R3, and R0. So what we will be doing is we will be subnetting this network in parts. Now, I didn't want this video to be too long because you might lose interest after some time. So I went ahead and I did the subnetting for these networks. What I will be doing for this video is I will be explaining these networks on how I came about with the subnetting for it. So first, let's start with R1. You can see that there are 4 switches. Each one we need 60 hosts. So let's get started. The network address for this network is 192.168.2.0/24. So 60 hosts is needed per network out of 4 networks. To be able to acquire 60 hosts, we would want to know which number on the chart or cheat sheet, as some of you may call it, we will need to use. The number we will use is 64. As you can see, it's highlighted here. Since we will be using the 64, our magic number is going to be 64. So the subnet mask will be 128 plus 64, which will give us 192. Because we borrowed 2 bits, which will make this network a /26. Now, how I came about with /26? This here is 8 are on, 8 are on again, and 8 are on, which is a /24 up to here. Now, as we put 2 on here now, 1 and 1, we are making it a /26. As you can see, we acquired a total host of 64. But, because we need to make space for our broadcast and network address only, 62 of these hosts can be used. As you can see, there are 4 networks address and 4 switches. Each of them can have 62 hosts. The first address is 192.168.2.0. This is going to be our network address, and for our broadcast address now, this is going to be 192.168.2.63. So the same concept will apply for the next 3 networks. As you can see, I have a subnet mask on the side, and this network is a class C. So let's go on to R2. So this router network is 172.20.0.0/16, as you can see there. What we need is 4 networks with 1,000 hosts each. Now let's go back to the diagram. You can see R2, 4 networks we have, and each of them are required of 1,000 hosts. So back to this. So for this network, we will not be required to use a magic number. What we will actually be doing is increasing the number of hosts by taking the bits rather than borrowing what we did previously. So let's look at the /23 here. What we did was we take away one of the ones, and we then ended up with 512 hosts. So what happens is, every time we take a 1, the number of hosts doubles. On the side here, you can see the subnets for each of them. Now you can see that we calculated up to /19 because this is going to be needed in further on in this video. For this network, you can see, let's move on. We have the 4 switches here and the network address and the broadcast address also right here. So for the let's use switch 1 as an example. The network address is going to be 172.20.0.0, and our broadcast address now is going to be 172.2. You know what? Let me write it on the side here. So the highlighted text here is going to be your network address, right? Now for your broadcast address, it's going to be 172.20.0. We're going to be using the 3, and that is going to be your broadcast address. Now all values in between are going to be your usable host. So for this next network, it will be the same procedure as the previous network. For the R3 network, we can see that 5,000 hosts is needed for 4 networks. Now you can see that we have already calculated the /19, which will give us 8,192 hosts. So the number which we will be using from the /19 is the highlighted 1. So we can see there the highlighted 1 in the /19. So let's use a reference to this, to the placement charts, which would be, this is 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So we are going to be using 32. Let's go back down to right. With that, we now know that our network will be increasing by 32. First, we have the network address of 172.24.0.0/16, and we have a broadcast address of 172.24.0.31. This is our broadcast address here with this, and our network address is going to be 172.24.0.0. So basically it will be the same concept as the previous networks which we have explained. Our subnet mask on the side, same thing like I said, all the networks in between 172.24.0.0 and 172.24.0.31 is going to be our usable host. And that's it actually for the subnetting of R3. So now that I have subnetted and explained the 3 hardest networks, the last one should be easy to understand because we are only subnetting a network with 30 hosts each for 2 networks only. So what you can do is pause this video, work out the subnetting, and after follow along to see if you got it correct. So I will go on straight to the network one time, explaining. So as you can see here, we have the network address of 192.168.4.0/24. Look back at the diagram, we can see that this is the R0 network. So 30 hosts is required of 2 networks only. So let's move on to the subnetting. So for this network, we will be using a magic number of 32. Let me just highlight that for a second so you all see it clearer. Good. We'll be using a magic number of 32, sorry, because we are only trying to get 30 hosts. Because we use the 32, we get a /27. To the right, you can see that we have our subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.224/27. So the first network address we have is 192.168.2.0, and we have a broadcast address of 192.168.2.31. As we mentioned earlier, again, all hosts in between, sorry, my mistake, all networks in between is going to be our usable host. As you can see, this is a class C network according to the subnet mask, and basically that is how you subnet this entire network here. So as you can see, there are the workings. If you would like, you can always pause this video and you can check over the workings. You can work it yourself and after look over and see if you got all correct. And I really hope you all enjoyed this video, and I really hope that this video helps you to subnet your networks a lot better. I hope it's going to give you a clearer idea on how you're going to be subnetting networks. So that's it for me, guys.